There's a moment that happens before two people exchange a single word. A moment that lasts only a few seconds, but somehow determines the entire direction of what comes next. When someone approaches you in public, whether it's a stranger, an acquaintance, or someone you notice from a distance, your mind instantly begins reading signals, interpreting intentions, and deciding whether you feel comfortable, unsafe, curious, annoyed, or pleasantly surprised. And what most people don't realize is that approaching someone is not about charm or perfect lines or strategies. It's about emotional intelligence. It's about timing, awareness, respect, and an understanding of human psychology. When these elements come together naturally, approaching someone can feel effortless, warm, and surprisingly meaningful. When they don't, it can feel uncomfortable, forced, or even unsettling. Many people struggle with this. They worry about coming across the wrong way. They worry about being misunderstood. They worry about crossing boundaries without realizing it. And behind all of these worries is one simple desire: the desire to connect, to create a moment that feels genuine, to step past fear and into possibility. So let's talk about what really matters when approaching someone, and how to do it in a way that feels natural, respectful, confident, and never intrusive. That it begins with something simple, something most people overlook, making it make sense. When someone approaches another person without context, the human mind raises its guard instantly, not because people are unkind, but because the world is unpredictable. And safety often depends on instincts. When a stranger walks up and immediately asks for something personal, like a phone number, the mind doesn't process that as confidence. It processes it as unfamiliar, abrupt, and lacking emotional awareness. Human psychology shows that people open up more easily when the interaction connects naturally to the environment, something in the moment, something both people can see or experience. This creates a shared reality, even if it lasts only a few seconds. Imagine someone sitting by a pool, reading a book, enjoying the sun. Now imagine someone approaching them by acknowledging the book they're reading, the environment they're in, the moment they're already part of. That small consideration shifts the energy entirely. It makes the conversation feel like an extension of what's already happening, instead of an interruption to it. People respond to what feels natural, not rehearsed. When someone opens with something thoughtful, a question about the book, a light comment about the weather, a gentle acknowledgement of shared surroundings, it creates ease. It signals respect. It shows awareness. And awareness is one of the strongest indicators of emotional intelligence. This is something many people misunderstand. You don't approach someone by jumping ahead. You approach them by starting where they already are, and when that happens, the entire interaction softens. There was once a moment at a quiet pool where a man noticed a woman reading beside him. Instead of forcing a conversation, instead of asking for something immediately, he simply made a thoughtful comment about her book. The conversation unfolded naturally. It wasn't forced. It wasn't rushed. It simply flowed. And when he later returned with his number, not asking for hers, he placed the choice entirely in her hands. No pressure, no expectation, just openness. And she described the moment with one word: refreshing. Human psychology tells us something important here. People open up when they feel they have control over their choices. Approaching someone respectfully is never about winning. It's about creating safety and giving space for the other person to choose. There are countless ways to start a natural conversation: asking for advice, asking a small, thoughtful question, making a gentle observation, even sharing a moment of humor. If two people are waiting in line, A tiny shared joke can immediately remove tension and create connection. It doesn't have to be complex. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. But while conversation starters matter, something else matters even more. Keeping it clean, keeping it respectful, keeping it safe. This is something many people underestimate. In today's world, awareness of boundaries is critical, not because people are overly sensitive, but because safety is a real concern, especially for women. Many people are cautious when they're alone. Many are careful when they walk to their car, when they navigate public spaces, when they interact with strangers. This isn't paranoia, it's self-protection, and it deserves respect. So when someone approaches with anything suggestive, overly personal, or physically focused, the human mind immediately activates its defense system. It says, something isn't right, even if the intention was innocent. The impact can feel overwhelming. The key is simple. Compliments should be warm, thoughtful, and never intrusive. Commenting on someone's overall style, their jacket, their shoes, their book, or something neutral is not only more respectful, it's more effective. It shows attention without crossing boundaries. It creates connection without pressure. People feel safe when they know you see them as a person, not as an object, and safety is the foundation of comfort, interest, and trust. But no matter how thoughtful your words are, something else will shape the entire experience. Your confidence, not loud confidence, not ego, not bravado, but grounded confidence, the kind that feels steady, warm, and calm. Human beings mirror the emotions of the people around them. When someone approaches with nervousness, closed body language, or uncertainty, the person they're speaking to will feel that unease too. The mind reflects what it perceives. Approach someone with your hands buried in your pockets, with your shoulders hunched, with your eyes darting away, and the energy shifts awkwardly. Approach with a bright posture, a gentle smile, comfortable eye contact, and the environment transforms. Confidence is not about being bold. It's about being present, because presence is what makes someone feel like they can relax. Presence tells them you're not expecting anything. Presence tells them you're comfortable within yourself, and that comfort creates comfort for others. Body language is a silent conversation happening at every moment. A slight smile, an open stance, relaxed shoulders. These cues communicate far more than words ever can, and just as important as expressing confidence is understanding the moment when connection isn't happening. This is where emotional intelligence becomes essential. Reading the room, reading the person, reading the cues. Not all interactions turn into conversations. Not all attempts turn into connections, and that is completely normal. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It's simply a sign that the moment wasn't aligned. If someone responds with short answers, looks away, gives minimal engagement, or seems uncomfortable, the healthiest choice is to step back with grace. Not frustration, not persistence, not pressure. Just acceptance, because pushing beyond someone's comfort zone doesn't create connection. It creates discomfort, but walking away with kindness, calmness, and dignity says something powerful about your character. It shows self-respect, it shows emotional strength, and it shows maturity. Even when the conversation ends quickly, it's still progress, because approaching someone takes courage. It takes stepping out of your comfort zone, and growth always begins with courage. Some people love being approached. Some people don't. Some people are open to conversation. Some people are reserved. Some people may be having a difficult day. Some may be taken. Some may simply not feel the connection. It's never personal. It's simply human. But sometimes, the moment is right. Two people exchange eye contact. A smile appears. A small connection forms before a word is spoken. And when someone approaches with respect, confidence, and awareness, something meaningful can begin. Consider a moment where someone approached with perfect timing. A gentle smile exchanged at the gym. A few days of noticing each other. A small pattern of shared glances. When someone approached by saying something thoughtful, something simple like wanting to know their name, the interaction opened naturally. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't forced. It was human and meaningful. And then consider the opposite. An approach that felt rushed, misplaced, awkward, or poorly timed. A moment where the person wasn't reading the environment. A workplace scenario where someone felt uncomfortable being approached in front of others. A moment that could have been okay, if only the person understood the environment better. This is why emotional awareness matters. Why timing matters. Why context matters. Approaching someone is never about being impressive. It's about being thoughtful though. And when you approach someone with that mindset, everything changes. You enter the moment with gentle intention. You observe the energy of the other person. You give them space to respond naturally. You allow the interaction to unfold on its own. You speak with kindness. You hold yourself with confidence. You leave room for their choice. And if the moment turns into a conversation, you let it grow. If it doesn't, you let it go, because a meaningful connection has no shortcuts. It grows through comfort, respect, and sincerity. People remember how you made them feel, not the words you used. They remember the warmth in your tone, the ease in your posture, the respect in your approach. And maybe the most powerful truth is this: approaching someone isn't about trying to be liked. It's about showing who you are, with honesty, confidence, and kindness. When you approach someone from that place, the moment becomes genuine, not forced, not awkward, just human. And those are the moments that matter the most.